King returns to the palace in chaos and called for Ichaki. Without listening to Ichaki's pleas, the king ordered his guards to beat him, blooded and bruised. Ichaki, the king shouted, "Pray he doesn't die, because if he does, you and your family will face my wrath." Ada watched his father being beaten and treated like a thief. "Please forgive my father." Once upon a time, in the peaceful village of Umunze, surrounded by tall palm trees and green hills, lived a young woman named Adanna. She was 25 years old and known for her beautiful singing voice. Her father, Ichiaki, was famous for making the best palm wine in Umunze, and their family was loved by everyone, including the king. Ichiaki and his wife, Ngozi, were very proud of Adanna. Her sons made everyone in the village happy. Life in Umunze was good, and the Aki family was often part of village celebrations. One sunny morning, Ichiaki came home after a long day of collecting palm wine. He was very pleased with the wine he had gathered and decided to eat a meal before taking it to the king. The royal family always enjoy his palm wine, a sign of their close friendship. After his meal, Ichaki went to the king's palace. The king was away, but Ikechi, his sister's son, visited. "Good afternoon, young master," Ichaki greeted. Ikechi barely looked at him. "What do you want?" "I brought the king's palm wine. Please keep it safe for him," Ichaki said, handing over the wine. Ikechi smelled the wine. He loved the aroma coming from the wine and decided to have a taste of it. Moments later, he began to vomit and collapse. Panic spread through the palace. People started saying that Ichaki had tried to poison the king and his family. The king returned to the palace in chaos and called for Ichaki. Without listening to Ichaki's pleas, the king ordered his guards to beat him, blooded and bruised. "Ichaki," the king shouted, "pray he doesn't die, because if he does, you and your family will face my wrath." Ada watched his father being beaten and treated like a thief. "Please forgive my father. I'm sure he's innocent," Ada pleaded. Their family life was destroyed in a single day, and no one in the village believed him. To fear Akwa, God forbid. I never expected that Ichiaki would be so heartless and wicked, not to think of poisoning the king, our own king. He deserved it, one of the villagers whispered as they walked home. Ichiaki's severe beating made him very ill, and he died a few days later. Adanna and her mother were heartbroken. The villagers don't want to associate with them. Everyone they ask help from pushes them away. Adanna and her mother were treated as an outcast. Life became very, very hard for them. Months later, Ngozi fell sick. Nobody wanted to help them. They only said that their sin had caught up with them. As Ngozi's health worsened, Adanna was scared. She didn't want her mother to die. She started begging the villagers and her friends to help her, but nobody wanted to help her. One morning, as Adanna woke up from sleep, she saw her mother shivering and coughing. "Mama, Mama, what is it?" Adanna cried out. "My daughter," Ngozi whispered. "Please, I'm sorry for everything. Please, take good care of yourself." She cursed the village with her dying breath. "No!" Adanna cried out aloud. "Please, Mama, Don't do this to me. Who will take care of me? Where will I go? Who will I run to? Mama, please come back, please. She fell down and cried bitterly. Adana was left alone, an orphan in this hostile world. The villagers, driven by fear, banished her. With nowhere to go, Adana wandered into the forest. Her voice, once a source of joy, now carried her pain. But in the forest, she found comfort among the animals who were drawn to her singing. Ada built a small hut in the forest. The animal visited her often, and she sang for them, finding some happiness with her new friends. 2 weeks after Adana was sent away, the king's nephew Ikechi woke up. The king was relieved, thinking that Ikechi had survived the poison. What poison? Ikechi asked. The palm wine, of course. You drank the palm wine and started vomiting. We believed that the palm wine was poison. Oh no, Ikechi said weakly. I didn't drink the palm wine. What do you mean? The king asked, confused. I took too much herbal medicine before trying to drink the wine. I felt sick. I started vomiting. Then I fell and the wine poured on the floor. It wasn't the palm wine that caused my sickness. You mean you didn't drink the palm wine? One elder shouted. Yes, I didn't, said Ikechi. Why are you all looking this way? I hope all is well. Realizing their mistakes, the king and his elder felt guilty. They had punished an innocent man, but instead of making amends, they kept the truth a secret, hoping people would forget. A month later, tragedy struck. All the first son in every family began to die mysteriously. Panic and fear gripped Umunze. Even the king's own son fell ill and died, followed by his wife. The villagers was in turmoil, and the king sought advice from Akapo, the chief priest. Akapo, the great one, please help us, the king said. We don't know what is happening. Our souls are dying. Nothing is working anymore. What is happening? Please help us, he said. The chief priest revealed that Ngozi's curse caused the calamity. To lift the curse, Adana had to sing at her mother's grave. Realizing their grave mistake, the villagers desperately searched for Adana. Adana was found in the forest, living happily among the animals. When the villagers approached her, she was filled with anger and pain, remembering their cruelties. We beg you, Adana. The village is dying. Only you can save us, one elder pleaded. You banished me and left me with nothing. You treated I and my family as an outcast. Now my parents are dead, and you are asking me to help you, Adana replied bitterly. Despite their plea, Adana refused to return. After much persuasion and heartfelt apologies, Adana agreed to come back on one condition, that her parents must be given a proper burial and full honors. The villagers, desperate to end their suffering, agreed. Adana returned to the village and sang at her mother's grave. Her voice, filled with sorrow and hope, resonated all through the village. Miraculously, the dead stopped. The villagers were overjoyed and deeply grateful to Adana. The king, filled with remorse, begged Adana for forgiveness. Please, Adana, forgive me. I know I had wronged you and your family. Your father was my very good friend. I don't know what came over me. Please. And he asked Adana to live with him in the palace. and promised to treat her as his own daughter. After much persuasion, Adana accepted, and the village slowly began to heal. A month later, the king fell ill. On his deathbed, he summoned his elders and the chief priest. "I wish for Adana to be crowned the next ruler of Umuze," he declared. With his final breath, he entrusted the future of the village to Adana. After the king's burial, Adana was crowned the first woman king of Umunze. Her reign brought peace and prosperity to the village. She ruled with wisdom and kindness, never forgetting the lesson of her past. The story of Adana teaches us the importance of truth, justice, and kindness. It reminds us that false accusation can destroy lives, and that true strength lies in forgiveness and resilience. Umunze, under King Adana's rule, became a symbol of hope, showing that even in the darkest time, light can prevail. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe